Right, hello. So I'm gonna assume by clicking on this video, you know what the annoying orange is. But if you don't know what an iceberg is a chart separated into layers, and the layers near the top possess widely known information related to a certain topic, whilst the lower tiers house more unknown entries instead. Before I start, I want to mention two things. Firstly, I want to thank Mr. Jaden Clark, Every Association 19, Banana Stealer, and Rand Spike, because a large portion of the entries that are featured in this iceberg are entries from each of their own icebergs. I did this because each of their icebergs just lacked enough for a full video. Their icebergs will be linked in the description, and also I'll be skipping some entries too, simply because some of them have nothing to say about them. With that out of the way, let's begin. Dane Bodigheimer, more commonly known as Danebo Online, is the guy who made the annoying orange. The High Fructose Adventures of Annoying Orange aired on Cartoon Network from 2012 to 2014. It had 2 seasons, each having 30 episodes. There might have been a 3rd season. There do exist Season 3 DVDs, and it is even listed on IMDb, but there's no way to watch it online. Anyways, the series wasn't much different from its YouTube counterpart, except for Tobuscus playing Nerval, one of the main characters, and overall just looking a bit different. It definitely does. In fact, as of right now, it has over 250 million views. However, that video was uploaded on Danebo's channel. The most viewed video on the Annoying Orange channel has nearly the same, at 251 million views. But the most viewed Annoying Orange related video on YouTube was uploaded by RT Horizon, with over 600 million views as of right now. At the end of every video, there's either a statement or question being said by Orange, normally relating to the episode. Annoying Orange Animated refers to, as much as I know, only these 2 videos, Annoying Orange Animated and Saw Animated. They're based on 2 pre-existing videos, this time reanimated in a 2D and more cartoony style. They were animated by Save as Awesome, and that's really all there is to say. Supercuts are compilations of Annoying Orange videos that get uploaded to the Annoying Orange channel. Not much to be said here. One of Orange's many attributes is his passion for TNT and explosions. If I'm not mistaken, his addiction was born in the episode Annoying Orange Let's Play Minecraft 2 TNT Revenge. In the episode, it showcases Orange constructing various buildings assembled from TNT and detonating them upon completion. Orange X Passion refers to the possible romantic relationship between Orange and Passion Fruit. Whenever Orange is asked if he likes Passion Fruit, he always responds with a no, and claims there's nothing romantic between him and her. Passion Fruit is shown to be well aware of his feelings, and is even hinted at liking it back. Ever since her introduction though, the relationship has only stayed at a surface level. The Orange has quite the interesting and extensive catalogue when it comes to merch. They have the expected shirts and hoodies, but they're best known for their strange looking line of toys. Hear me out though. Surprisingly, there's actually a lot of music under the name Annoying Orange. They have a fair bit of original music, but they're best known for their parodies, with the most viewed music videos being Orange Style, a parody of Gangnam Style, and Friday, spelt with a Y, being a parody of Friday by Rebecca Black. Those words A phrase frequently uttered by Orange, either when he is bored or trying to gather attention. Doing further research shows the phrase wasn't coined by Dane though, but instead the Australian children's band The Wiggles back in the 90s, and they do sound quite similar.
Here we go now, me hearties! Woo-hoo!
No! Try it! No, stop it!
Ask Orange is an ongoing series on the main channel, where the audience can ask questions to Orange or other characters through a YouTube comment. Despite the series being insanely long, there isn't really much else to be said. As a result of what was a largely popular franchise at the time, many different types of media and merchandising would come as an attempt to capitalize on the Orange's fame. One of these was the very first official Annoying Orange branded mobile game. Released in April of 2011, the game was developed by Bottle Rocket and would be published by Eastedge Studios, which would actually go on to develop the next two games in the series. This one was titled Kitchen Carnage, and stayed true to what made the Annoying Orange so popular to begin with. The game was simplistic. The goal was to get as many points as you can within a 2-minute time frame. To get points, you would need to throw food into blenders, and the more food you discarded would gain you more blenders, and every blender you'd get would have a higher point value than the last. There were other modes too, Endless, which I think you can tell what that one is, and Balloon. Balloon lasted 8 waves, and the goal was to target as many balloons in each wave as possible. Just 2 years later, in October, the second game, Splatoon, would launch. It already seemed to be a massive step up from its predecessor. The goal in this one was to launch food as far as you can. The further said food was launched, the more points you would gain. With the points you obtained, you could actually spend those points on increasing either your power and/or contact. And the last detail worth noting, in my opinion, would be how Zoom, Zip and Stitchy were all used as power-ups in this game. Zoom would give you greater power, Zip made contact a lot easier, and Stitchy was slow, far easier to hit than any other character in the game, and had a very balanced weight. After what was 2 very simple yet cleverly crafted games, it's quite clear what made them so successful to begin with. The games were straightforward and easy to pick up because of that, not to mention the branding definitely had an impact too. However, the final game would abandon nearly everything that made its predecessors successful and go in a completely different direction. In 2020, well after the Orange had peaked, the game Skewers would release. To begin, the game looked vastly different compared to the last two, and had such things like levels and bosses, which the first two lacked and instead was simply high score based. In each level, you would need to guide a type of fruit to a blender, and on the way, you need to collect more of that same fruit by skewering them. The only thing in this game that resembled the Annoying Orange brand was the option to change the power-ups to that of Annoying Orange characters. From what I've already stated, it's clear on why this game performed poorly compared to its predecessors, although I can see why such decisions were made. The audience that grew up with the first two games would probably be too old to enjoy something like Kitchen Carnage nowadays, at least for a long time, so it would make sense that if old and nostalgic Annoying Orange fans were the target demographic, which I doubt, why this game was made so differently compared to the last two. But then again, I'm pretty confident that nowadays, most of Annoying Orange's consistent viewer base would be younger people, and it would only take a few years later for low effort but stimulating mobile games to take over the mobile industry, with young children having low attention spans being the main audience. And off topic, I've always really struggled with segues. How To was a series on the Annoying Orange channel. In the series, both Pear and Orange would attempt to give an answer to a user's question. If you're thinking it's like Ask Orange, that's where you're wrong. Unlike Ask Orange, How To would have entire episodes dedicated to one question, and the question featured was something that usually needed a step-by-step answer. Despite all that, the series was only really known for its unique style of animation called being a cheap bastard. It's called that because, look at it. I really can't tell if the series was animated poorly because they wanted to be cheap or if they wanted to make how to stand out. An emoji rap consisted of a YouTube comment asking Orange to rap about something, followed by a series of emojis. Once Orange fully examines the comment, he would rap about the chosen subject, but the challenge would be he would have to make the lyrics relate to the set of emojis. The series began in July of 2017 and would end only 5 months later in December of that same year. Marshmallow's gender was both a debate and joke within the Annoying Orange community. When Marshmallow was first introduced, at the time he went by he/him pronouns, until the very first Ask Orange episode, when user Paige Wagey Hastings, definitely not Paul, asked the question, is Marshmallow a boy or a girl? Then it evolved into a big part of the Annoying Orange channel and community, until in June of 2022, to celebrate Pride Month, Marshmallow's gender was officially revealed to be non-binary. What's kind of funny was how Twitter threw a massive hissy fit about it. Like, I don't want to sound like an old folk despite me not being one, but back then, if you were gay, you'd get beaten and sent to a conversion camp, and now, if you're gay, you get bullied by 9-year-olds on the internet. Step up your game, brother. In the episode Passionfruit Has a Boyfriend, Passionfruit comes back after a trip to Argentina. She reveals whilst on her trip she met GG, short for Great Grandilla, in that they're now a couple. Orange is, as expected, very jealous and shocked by the news. The only other episode GG appears in is Ask Orange episode 62. It's revealed that Passionfruit and GG are actually cousins, and both learn this later on in the episode, making Passionfruit wanting to end the relationship, but not GG. In the ending of said episode, Orange goes Super Saiyan and kills GG. AO Kids was an educational side channel of the Annoying Orange. The channel featured a mixture of 2D and 3D animated videos, and of course said videos were made to be more educational and entertaining for young children, and would only be active for 2 years. However, in those 2 years, the channel faced massive success, with its most viewed video having nearly 400 million views. Shocktober is a month-long celebration that happens annually during October on both Annoying Orange and its gaming counterpart to celebrate Halloween. During said month, both channels will make horror-themed content, even having intros specially made for the event. Tutti Frutti 9000 is simply just the username of the Roblox account that is used for making Roblox videos on Annoying Orange Gaming. Trailer Trashed is a series on Annoying Orange. In this series, Orange, Pear, Marshmallow and Midget Apple, sometimes replaced by Grapefruit, react to the trailers of upcoming movies. It began in October of 2014 and is still continuing to this day. Orange Approved is a collection of 7 videos Danbo took from his old channel. Danbo to be put on the Annoying Orange channel instead for some reason. These 7 include Cheney the Chainsaw, Meteor Sandwich, Bacon on a String, which was animated by Saber's Awesome from earlier, Hippodactyl, 6-pack of jetpacks, Marshmallow Murder, and Eggs. All of them are animated music videos except for Marshmallow Murder and Eggs, which instead are 2 of many early like Annoying Orange skits from Danbo's channel, a bit before the Annoying Orange had his debut. Storytime is an ongoing series where host Pear and co-host Orange read the viewer a classic fairy tale. Pear would aim to read the story word for word, but Orange often derails it and as a result tells the viewer his own adaptation instead. The series launched in September of 2017 and is still continuing, granted with month-long breaks in between episodes. but its survival can probably be thanked to the story segments being 3D animated opposed to what regular viewers are used to. They definitely do exist. Fred was a YouTube channel that was far more popular and relevant back in the late 2000s, with the main character, Fred Figglehorn, being known for his abnormally high-pitched voice and his unique and at the time new sense of humour. Fred, as of right now, has about 3 million subscribers, with his most popular video being Fred Goes Grocery Shopping. In Fred Goes Grocery Shopping, believe it or not, he goes grocery shopping. And whilst he's out, he encounters the annoying Orange, and staying true to each other's nature, Orange keeps annoying Fred until Fred has enough and shouts at him, until both make up and move on. Fred also appeared on the annoying Orange, in the video Annoying Orange vs Fred. In said video, Liam the Leprechaun, as an attempt to get back at Orange, arranges a fight between him and Fred. The fight in question isn't anything combat related, but instead is more of a test to see how long they can annoy each other before one backs out. The plan backfires at Liam, however, after both Orange and Fred manage to shatter both of the annoying meters due to how annoying they both are, and this causes said meters to blow up, resulting in a piece of the stadium the fight is being held in to fall directly on Liam, thus killing him and ending the fight in a sudden draw. That's still not it though. In Kitchen Carnage, there's a character called Fred Figglecorn, and Fred even cameoed as recently as 2020 in an Ask Orange episode. Screaming Eggs, if I'm not mistaken, is the very first Annoying Orange-like work to be done by Danebo, and is the third video ever on Danebo's channel. It's only a minute long, so I'ma just show the full video. Skip to this timestamp if you're not interested.
And that's why they call it egg white. Whoa, hey, right. What? Hey, close the door. Well, I gotta say, I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Hey, watch the shell. I don't even understand. What's that thing? What's she doing? I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. You should really tell another one of your jokes. Whoa, where are they taking Steve? What's she doing? Okay. Where's Steve going? What? I don't even... Okay. What? Listen, I'm jumping. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna do it. No, don't do it. No, this can't be happening. Oh, let me get out of here. We're all gonna die. Get us out of here. Hey, who wants to hear a joke?
Annoying Orange live action refers to the video Annoying Orange live action. The video isn't a live action adaptation, but instead is a fully 3D recreation of the very first Annoying Orange video. The video was done to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of Annoying Orange. It was done by Darren Wallace, and that's all there really is to say. Kitchen 1 was a series on the Annoying Orange YouTube channel that parodied the Pokemon anime, even down to it being animated in a similar anime type style. From 2013 to 2017, the end card of any Annoying Orange video during that time period, there'd be a clickable button labelled the Mystery Orange button. Clicking on it now does nothing, but using the Wayback Machine, I discovered that back then, when clicked on, would bring you to a random Annoying Orange video. There's also a Mystery Marshmallow button, used one time in the episode Ultimate Marshmallow Tease. Pear, marshmallow, grandpa lemon, grapefruit, midget apple, squash, Liam the leprechaun, zombie George Washington and potato each have their own official spin-off channel. Beginning with Pear, his channel primarily focused on challenge videos, and said videos were edited poorly to emphasize that he's an amateur when it comes to managing a channel, and such things like hard rock and explosions were common throughout his content to make his audience believe that he lives an extreme and exciting life despite how he is perceived on the Annoying Orange channel. His channel was definitely the most successful. As of right now, it has about 250,000 subscribers. Despite Midget Apple's channel seeming like it has no content, it does have a somewhat interesting story. If you're confused on why his channel was created well after the other channels were ever active, this is because this channel isn't his first. For some reason, his original channel rebranded into Annoying Orange Gaming. In fact, the first uploads of that channel are from Midget Apple's channel. You can tell by the Midget Apple Gaming watermark being present for the first dozen of uploads. Similar to Midget Apple's channel, Grapefruit also has no content and was made fairly recently. Unlike Midget Apple's channel, there's no reason for this. Thankfully though, the channel Screen Captain has re-uploads dating back to 2015, from what I presume to be Grapefruit's channel. It does have Annoying Orange Gaming written in the title, but yet it does have the Grapefruit Gaming watermark sat in the left bottom corner. Besides that, there's not much to be said here. Unlike the last two, Marshmallow's channel is a fully fledged one, with a hearty amount of content. Said content consists of 10-minute loops and outtakes from The Marshmallow Show. The Marshmallow Show was a talk show, and in said show, Marshmallow would interview random internet celebrities that were popular back then. Grandpa Lemon's channel is a fucking parody of the What Really Grinds My Gears gag from Family Guy. More than half of the videos on his channel is a series called Grinds My Rhymes, and similar to What Really Grinds My Gears, Grandpa Lemon rants about whatever, and the intro is even meant to replicate news channels. The other three videos are different, but not all that special. Two of them are gaming videos, and the other is a 1-hour loop of him sleeping. Because Squash's whole character is simply just him squashing things, there is very little to say about it. If this matters, for some reason his channel isn't in the featured tab on the Annoying Orange channel, which is just weird I guess. I'm grouping these two as one because I don't think they're officially affiliated with the Annoying Orange. The two I'm referencing, if you couldn't read, are Liam the Leprechaun and Zombie George Washington. Not only are they both voiced by Robert Bobby Jennings, the old voice actor for Grapefruit, but both channels are most likely managed by him too, which would explain why they're in Grapefruit's featured tab, but not Orange's. When it comes to the content, both mainly consisted of gaming videos, with some vlogging, reaction and skit videos thrown in there too. According to the Annoying Orange fan wiki, Potato from the episode Muddy Buddy has his own channel named Mystery Potato Man. However, doing further research shows no such thing existing. Cool Killer was a short series on Danebo's channel of an insane and homicidal depiction of the Kool-Aid Man. The series involved Kool-Aid Killer, Aid, spelled like A-I-D-E, killing random famous internet celebrities. In the episode titled Kool-Aid Killer, we discover the reason he kills is that he feels forgotten, and the killing is to send a message to those who don't consume his drink. Oddly enough, it seems Cool Killer had the opportunity to appear on Comedy Central through a website called The Atom Showdown if gotten enough votes. Somehow, a website that served only one purpose 10 years ago isn't up now. Unbelievable. mc.orangecraft.net was the name for the official Annoying Orange Minecraft server. Joining the server, you'd be greeted by the main characters circling you with their mouths open. Entering one leads you to a different game mode dependent on the mouth you entered. Orange had fractions, Marshmallow had parkour, Pear had skyblock, Midget Apple had kit PvP, Grapefruit had Sky Wars, Squash had Hunger Games, and Grandpa Lemon had creative mode. Passion was gonna have her own mode, that being battleships, but never got finished for some reason. If I'm not mistaken, the server was shut down in January of 2019. but there was a fan-made server called play.orangecraft.org, but has 0 active players as of right now. Bad news, if you're someone with an intellect so expensive that it can even fathom the very idea of Rick and Morty, you may want to steer clear from these books, because believe it or not, but books that are based on a funny talking orange from the internet isn't exactly on par with Stephen King or even the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Most of them are joke books with a few exceptions. If you're thinking Danebo was someone who had quite the liking for baked goods drizzled in icing, or had a passion for taking part in Japanese photography while wearing Toy Story alien beanie things, or liked having sex with cats, then you're thinking of something different. Danebo Exposed was simply nothing more than a Q&A series Danebo did on his own channel. Ask President Marshmallow was a very short spin-off of Ask Orange that lasted only a single episode, despite Orange compelling the audience to ask more questions by the end, implying more episodes were planned to be made. What is even stranger is how the episode did really well, only deepening my confusion on why they left this series so early. As previously stated, it's Ask Orange but with Marshmallow, not much to be said here. Be a Star opens with Pear governing the group to say the line, "I'm a star, a great big shining star, yay," for a cameo in an upcoming episode, but no one seems to get it correctly. Pear is understandably devastated by this until getting the idea to ask the audience to do the same, and whoever got picked would also get to cameo in the next episode. For a chance to be in the preceding episode, one would need to film a video of them saying the line, "I'm a star, a great big shining star, yay," upload it to YouTube, make the title "I'm a Star," and then set it as a response to this video. Mark Boyzanaki, sorry if I got that wrong, was the winner of the contest, and this was his cameo.
I'm a star! A great big shining star! Yay!
To describe the entirety of Danebo's channel with such little research and, to be honest, little care to do so, is simply not doing justice for what is something that was truly great for its time. So I'm just gonna describe the first ever Danebo video that I know of, the Yanni show. Right into the video, we're introduced to Yanni, followed by an intentionally mediocre and poorly constructed theme song. And encased within the lyrics, we discover that Yanni is actually a teacher. In the opening shot, we see Yanni surrounded by 3 presumably adolescent children, in the hope of informing them how to identify the difference between what he calls a green and red light touching. He begins by demonstrating various green light touches, before asking the question if they know what a red light touch is. The guy to his left, Billy, says the right answer, and in return gains 3 Yanni points. After Yanni adds on to his answer, he follows it up with the preceding question, quizzing if they know who to go to if they've been touched. The guy to his right, Johnny, answers it correctly, and gains 5 Yanni points. After 2 more questions, he announces he's going to put them to the test and see if they've been listening. He shakes Susie's hand, and she responds with a green light touching, making her correct and gaining her 15 Yanni points. After a lengthy and awkward celebration, Yanni moves on to Jimmy and gives him a hug. Jimmy answers correctly and gains 25 Yanni points. To conclude the episode, he moves on to Billy, and I'll just show the clip.
Billy, you ready for your test? Sure am, Yanni. Alright, you need to tell Yanni if this is a red light touch or a green light touch. You ready?
After Billy, fucking Blue Yanni, and answered correctly, he's awarded with 200 Yanni points. Food and costume could be referencing the episode April Fruits Day, which I won't explain because it's relevant for the next entry, but the main characters do disguise as each other to trick the rest into thinking they were who they were pretending to be. If that's not what this entry is referring to, then I have no idea what this is. Orange has died 2 times in the series, the first being in the April Fool's Day special, April Fruits Day. The episode opens with Orange informing Tomato that she is once again a vegetable. She's delighted by the news until Orange reveals it was nothing more than a joke. After a lengthy montage of the gang playing pranks on each other, it returns back to the quarrel shared between Orange and Tomato. After Orange keeps annoying Tomato, she yells knife, thus setting the dominoes for Orange to get killed. Fortunately, when it did strike, Orange is revealed to be Midget Apple in an orange costume, so I don't really know if this counts. The other episode where Orange dies is Control Freak. It begins with Pear attempting to pause the TV because MC Goat yells new music video is playing, and Pear cannot stand it. It seems all hope has been shattered until Remote arrives and pauses the TV for Pear. Orange, who was watching it, is enraged and starts protesting to Pear to unpause it. Pear jokingly remarks, "Too bad you can't pause real life too," to Remote. Remote then reveals he's capable of pausing real life and demonstrates on Orange, but shortly after unpauses him due to his morals. Shortly after Midget Apple arrives and Orange forcefully uses Remote's ability on him, Pear scolds him, and then he lectures Remote on how to ethically use his gift. After that, a baguette about to be cut is shown, but Remote pauses the situation and saves him. Baguette is grateful, but then says knife to Orange, thus setting him to get killed once again. He then gets cut in half and juiced, but with Remote's ability to rewind time, he does so and saves Orange from dying. Humanity is something that isn't explained or spoken about often in Annoying Orange lore. Nerval from the TV show is fully aware that food is not only alive in the same sense of how a human is, but also has sentience on par with humans too. So since Nerval isn't anyone of high government status and instead is an ordinary middle-class man, it wouldn't be a stretch to assume if an average man knows about sentient food, then everyone should. If that is true, then wouldn't that mean purchasing, selling, and consuming food would be considered a crime, or at least ethically questionable? Well, most likely not, because Nerval works at a convenience store in a very public area too, so if it was illegal, people would definitely know. Now this may seem a bit odd of a comparison, but in episode 5 of season 2 in BoJack Horseman, we learned that in a universe where both humans and animals share a very equal symbiotic relationship, animal meat is still something that is commonly consumed. To legally farm animal meat in the BoJack universe, some animals are genetically modified and nurtured in a way that killing it isn't considered inhumane or murder. After all that I've said, you may think we're done, but in the episode Planet of the Grapes, we see a wine farm, which after what I've said wouldn't seem to matter, but in said wine farm there's many grapes that are fully aware of the situation they're in, and scared because of it. This does kinda dismiss the BoJack theory, or maybe I'm just thinking way too deep about a funny talking orange. I don't know. Whilst Orange does struggle in raw strength, he's displayed a greatness in such skills like strategy, sniping, reflexes and awareness, but his most impressive feat, despite me dismissing his strength as nothing impressive, was the time with just the help of a microphone, his voice was so loud and fast it was capable of echoing around the entire Earth. The Roblox Video Star program is a program for Roblox YouTubers. The program supplies them with certain exclusive benefits among other things. As you probably guessed, the Annoying Orange was featured here too. Lego Annoying Orange could be referencing either Annoying Orange Gets Legoed, a series on the official Annoying Orange YouTube channel consisting of both new episodes and remakes of older episodes in a Lego style, or Lego Annoying Orange, an abandoned channel that only focused on recreating Annoying Orange videos also in a Lego style. The Make-A-Wish Foundation is a non-profit charity that specializes in bringing life to wishes of your children. They partnered with Dane to grant both Jason, last name unknown, and Garrett Grommesh's wish, that being to meet the team behind the Annoying Orange. Each of them have their own respective video going into a lot more detail than I did. They'll both be linked in the description. The Misfortune of Being Ned was a series on the Annoying Orange YouTube channel that began on the 9th of October 2013 and would end not long after on the 23rd of April 2014. It had 2 seasons, each of 10 episodes, and said episodes involved the main character Ned. Due to his poor luck, every episode would end with either him being killed due to some random turn of events stacked against him, or being beaten to near death. As much as I know, the Exploding Orange and Frankenfruit are the only 2 videos that have an outtake compilation viewable to the public. Besides that, there's not much to be said. IFHY Orange is Orange's brother. However, his debut was in episode 3 of Krabby Captioned, a series where they recreate old Annoying Orange videos, this time the script being entirely made from automated captions, which have a reputation for being not that great. Anyways, IFHY Orange's only purpose was to fill in a gag due to the mediocrity of automated captions, so it's questionable if he's canon. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, take in mind this is coming from someone who isn't well educated on the subject, can be anything from a digital painting to virtual land that people pay real money for. The most infamous example of an NFT would be the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is definitely the most successful too, with the entire collection being valued well over $700 million, which is something that can't be said for the 4K remaster of the very first Annoying Orange video. After aggravating Twitter in saying we are a very small animation studio that work very hard to do what we love, they uploaded the full video onto YouTube. Also, this is kinda off topic, but like 3 years ago I made my own NFTs called the Manny Collection, being based on Manny from Diary of the Wimpy Kid. I didn't profit any money, and don't worry, I don't do them anymore. In the episode previously on, Orange is needed to defuse a bomb nearing its detonation. However, Orange mistakes a green wire for a red wire, causing the bomb to explode. This would imply that Orange suffers from red-green color blindness. According to the Annoying Orange fan wiki, not only are oranges naturally very annoying in the Annoying Orange universe, but also Orange is actually quite mild compared to the rest of his species. I guess they are, but like, how does someone find that out? As previously stated, the Annoying Orange brand has swapped spit with the toy industry multiple times, giving life to these things. Not only do these radiate an urge to be 2 years old again and to shove them down my gullet, but also more interest than fear or disgust. And I guess I'm a part of the crowd actually, because despite their design, the majority of reviews are shockingly positive. The Annoying Orange Zombie was a series later trend originally started by Victor Skull, if I'm not mistaken. The series took ordinary Annoying Orange videos and edited them with jump scares. This style of video is still done somewhat recently with videos as new as a year ago. In the video picture contest, an announcer exclaims to the viewer that there will be no new video this Friday. Orange, in pity for the viewer, offers him the chance to win free merch and even money in a contest. To win, you'd need to edit a picture that in some way referenced Orange and post it to the official Annoying Orange Facebook page and comment Annoying Orange picture contest underneath said post. Despite Orange claiming there'd only be 10 winners, 19 photos were featured in the picture contest winners video. He is. Yep, I really struggled to think of something to say, but he is. Midget Apple is illiterate, he can't read. Again, I really don't know what else there is to say. Evil broccoli are said to be from outer space and evil. They, for some reason, possess a strong distaste towards fruit, evident by all the times they've attempted to terminate all fruit. They also wield far superior technology compared to Earth. Besides that, they're not that interesting. On the 20th of November 2014, the official Annoying Orange Twitter account tweeted @SoldierBoy, "Even your music annoys me, bruh." It doesn't go any deeper than that, I just thought it was pretty funny. On the topic of Annoying Orange in Twitter, there does exist a parody Annoying Orange Twitter account called Annoying Orange, but with 2 R's, which originally was gonna have its own entry in this video, but I couldn't find a good way to write it in, so it exists, it's pretty funny, check it out I guess. Because of how short his cameos are, I'm just gonna show them. In episode 22 of Ask Orange, Orange gets given a gender detector to use on Marshmallow, but to make sure it's accurate, he scans pear, midget apple and grapefruit. Both pear and midget apple are males as expected, but after scanning grapefruit, it states that he, or she, is a woman impersonating a man. That was probably just a gag though. The subject of time travel has been featured fairly often throughout the channel's long list of videos. Despite its lengthy catalogue though, I'm only going to be talking about 3 of them, kinda. The first one is titled Back to the Fruit Shop. It begins with Orange insisting Pear to give back his supposedly stolen pinwheel, but Pear bitterly retaliates before boldly claiming that once again he will not be returning Orange his desired pinwheel. After that, a second mysterious Orange appears, revealing that he is Orange but from the year 2053. For simplicity, we're going to refer to him as Orange 2, despite Orange 2's wish to stray further from any confusion or questions. Orange states he will not listen until given further information on his sudden entrance. After Orange finally believes him, Orange 2 reveals that he was sent back here to protect Orange from what he calls a future space warlord. He then adds on to that by stating if one of them were to get killed, then the other one would die shortly after too. Orange 2 then reveals that the pinwheel that Pear stole is actually the most dangerous weapon in the universe, and that is what Orange 2 wishes to protect Orange with. Pear retaliates to give back his pinwheel once more, until a third Orange appears, steals Pear's pinwheel, and kills Orange 2 with it. After a sudden mixture of confusion and shock brush over both Orange and Pear, Orange 3 reveals that Orange 2 was actually from a bad timeline, and that he was trying to manipulate Orange into thinking that Orange 3 was trying to kill him. Before I talk about the second video, I got a little mini theory cooking up, so just let me cook, okay? One thing I forgot to mention about Orange 2 is that for some reason, he is not annoying at all. The only other time we see Orange not being annoying, as much as I know, is the TV show episode I talked about earlier, Night of the Veggie Zombies. In that episode, it's Orange's laugh and crude sense of humour that killed off the Veggie Zombies. So what I'm saying is that this Orange must have been from the timeline where he stayed serious, and in some insane turn of events, the evil alien race of broccoli ended up either killing all fruit or taking over Earth in some way, because again, it was them who reanimated the veggies alive. It doesn't explain why Orange 2 wanted to kill Orange 3, which I suppose is also from the good timeline too. Anyways, moving on. The second video is titled Microwave Effect. It starts off with Orange mistaking a burrito for what he calls a space taco. However, this nickname may possess some truth, as when he got microwaved, for some reason this causes them to time travel back to the first episode of Annoying Orange. After the at the time present group explain themselves to the past group, Apple begins to question his absence from the group. After present day Orange mistakenly reveals why, that being him getting knifed, Apple, now with this newly found information, is able to dodge the knife. For some reason, Apple's survival caused a massive influx of apples to inhabit the kitchen. For another reason, they're also frightened by midget apples, in my opinion, quite average size. It then cuts to a dangling cage with Grandpa Lemon, passion fruit and grapefruit encased within its miniature and metallic chasm. Grandpa Lemon goes to say that some time ago the apples took over the kitchen. Grapefruit then adds on to that by saying something called a robo-apple eliminated any non-apple fruit that weren't enslaved like they are. Then it's revealed that the robo-apple, who is now attacking them, is actually being commanded by Apple from the first video, who in this timeline didn't die, and for some reason is now a ruler of some kind. Burrito then brings back the group to the first episode. Apple is relieved, thinking they intend to escort him to the present day. It's unclear if that was their intention, but that doesn't matter, because Apple got overwhelmed by both present and past day Orange talking, which led him to lose focus on his eventual death. The last video is not a video, but a short series titled Orange Through Time. Each episode simply showcases Orange experiencing famous points in history. It's nothing more than that. I don't know. Dane was an uncredited animator and voice actor for the web series Happy Tree Friends, which you may know for its abundant use of gore despite looking like a kids show. He was also a production assistant for the MTV show Pimp My Ride, a show hosted by rapper Exhibit, sorry if I got that wrong, where they would modify old and shitty looking cars into something far better. Real Annoying Gummies was the name for the official Annoying Orange brand of gummies. Despite it being really obscure and in my opinion interesting, it's just gummies but with an Annoying Orange recolor. There were multiple holiday themed variations too, but only the packaging was affected as much as I know, that being because I have yet to try them, because they're most likely discontinued. I haven't seen anything on them being discontinued, but I doubt these lived long on the shelves. Dane Co. is a fictional conglomerate company set in the Annoying Orange universe. Their logo can be seen in a lot of later episodes, as some of the kitchen appliances in the background are Dane Co. branded. It being a parent company too, it does also have other smaller companies, like Dane Co. Air, Dane Co.'s Oranges, Dane Bows, a food retail company, and Dane Burgers. Also, it isn't said, but it is maybe implied that Dane Co. is responsible for the production of Annoying Orange episodes. However, the episode where we learn this information is a Shocktober episode, which aren't canon, and yeah, if it wasn't obvious, Dane Co. is based on Dane Bow. Fruits vs. Zombies was an unofficial crossover series between Plants vs. Zombies, which I'm sure you know, and Annoying Orange, which I hope you know. The gimmick of the series is that you'd get to pick which Annoying Orange character gets to fight off the zombies. You'd make your decision by selecting one of them on screen, or in the description, but due to recent YouTube updates and the fact that now every Annoying Orange video has the same description, this can't be done anymore, but thankfully all the alternate endings were uploaded separately. Also, I don't know why this isn't layer 4, because a compilation of all the alternate endings as of right now has nearly 50 million views, making it nowhere near obscurity. Orange, Pear, Grandpa Lemon, Dr. Banana, Midget Apple, Marshmallow, Knife, Apple, Baby Carrot voiced by Jason from earlier, Zoom, Donald Shrunk, Squash, Lou the Tick, and Orange's sister each have their own birthday e-card video, where they greet the viewer a happy birthday. but that's all there really is. At first, I was certain this was nothing more than a joke entry, but there may be some truth to this. In episode 42 of Storytime, Orange reads the FNAF timeline to the viewer, but because it's annoying Orange, the story is modified for comical effect and also shortened to 4 minutes. But in those 4 minutes, Orange did get some stuff right. However, I don't know if Danebo does any of the writing for the annoying Orange. Veggie zombies are created when unwanted vegetable scraps come into contact with the far superior technology wielded by the evil alien race of broccoli, which I'll just refer to as broccoli from now on. Whilst it's unclear how their technology works, it managed to bring life to dead vegetables at the cost of them being zombie-like. This worked in their favour, however, because coincidentally the veggie zombies survive on fruit. Besides that, I don't know if this entry is alluding to veggie zombies actually existing in real life or something else. Created by Seth Green and Matthew Senrich, Robot Chicken is a series on Adult Swim, best known for their parodies in their signature stop-motion style. They did a parody of The Annoying Orange called The Annoying Mjolnir, which is the name of Thor's hammer. It's quite short and the plot isn't anything special, it's just cool that it exists, I guess. In the episode Earth Day, Orange dreams about meeting the Earth. What's weird about this is how the Earth and the Sun are depicted as being alive and fully sentient too, which is just weird for obvious reasons, and has some interesting implications as well, but because it's only a dream in Orange's head, it's difficult to tell if it's canon or not. In the first episode of the High Fructose Adventures of Annoying Orange, we learn that Marshmallow is actually from a planet called Marshmalia. Within this planet, there's a city called Detroit, and Marshmallow is actually from Detroit, not the one on Earth, but the one from Marshmalia. In the episode Donald Trump, a personification of Donald Trump tries to persuade the kitchen to vote for him, and Orange is by far his biggest supporter. Take in mind, Orange is canonically very dumb, so I don't know if this could have possibly been a way to dog on Trump, or to add commentary to the current political status. This entry is mostly here because it does kinda imply that Orange would be a Trump supporter in real life, but also because Annoying Orange is the last place I'd expect to see political propaganda. I mean, the majority of the audience are still probably sucking on their mum's tit, so I doubt they'd be able to vote. This is on a serious note, but that joke was, yeah, it doesn't directly aim at Trump, but the implication, I guess. I just want to say I don't know much about American politics, so don't get on my back, please. It was just a joke. I don't want anyone in the comments getting angry at me. I'm not even from America. I'm from down under, it's just a big rock. You might see a kangaroo if you're lucky. Maybe like a dead, I don't know, wombat. On a good day, you see a dead wombat, like, that is something big, the entire town comes to look at the wombat. But again, this is not a joke. I don't know much about Trump, so I'm not dogging on him, and I'm not saying Hillary is better or worse. I don't know anything about them. Again, just don't get on my back. Okay, thank you. Giggle Chocolitis is a fictional mental illness possessing the following symptoms: a sudden rise in irritating or obnoxious behavior, a needing urge to make crude or inappropriate jokes, and the inability to act with seriousness. If it wasn't clear, Orange is the only known character to have such an illness, but in the episode Night of the Veggie Zombies, the same episode we discover Orange's condition, he did get it temporarily cured by simply thinking it was something unfunny before he would normally laugh or poke fun at someone, but eventually he couldn't control his urge to laugh when he saw Pear slip on a banana peel, but then it was said laugh that killed off most of the veggie zombies. In the same episode, we learn Marshmallow also has a condition named happy joyfulitis, whilst it never got to be explained in detail. Because of Marshmallow's personality and character, we can make an educated guess that it's the cause of Marshmallow's unconditional love for everyone. And this doesn't really fall in the same category, but in the same episode, Midget Apple confesses that he has a deep-rooted inferiority complex. Whilst this is definitely just a third addition to the gag and isn't taken as seriously or a mental illness, but instead is a rather common symptom of anxiety. Stay hard, Shortkin. Okay, right, hello. So the other bit of this video is going to be edited very differently, because the first bit of this video is actually going to be its own video, but now it's not, for stuff I can't be bothered to say. So yeah, just letting y'all know if the video is a bit different, that is why. Yeah, thank you. There may not be much to support this theory, though it would actually explain a lot of things, like how most food share both a similar anatomy and facial appearance with only humans and no other animal, although there are some minor exceptions to that, and why only some food are alive. This type of thing was kinda touched upon in the episode Inanimate Orange. I'm not going to be going into much detail on the plot, but I am going to be talking about a few things. Like how in the episode, when Midget Apple discovers the fact that there are indeed food that aren't alive like they are, he's taken back by that. Further in the episode, Orange interacts with the inanimate fruit, however he never concluded that these fruit aren't capable of speech. These two moments imply either non-sentient food are largely common, and Orange and the others just aren't aware about them for some reason, or the opposite, being non-sentient food is a rarity, which would explain both Orange and Midget Apple's confused reaction. This could mean that both highly evolved and primitive food coexist together peacefully, or at least both exist non-symbiotically. For an example, humans and Neanderthals coexisted together for at least 2,600 years. Now the difference between these two is that Neanderthals split from humans about maybe 650,000 years ago, making them their own thing and not a de-evolved human. I'm no scientist, but I'm sure it wouldn't be possible for example, birds and dinosaurs to live at the same time. So this would have to mean that inanimate food is an entire different species. Bit off topic, but what makes even less sense is how something completely non-organic, like a knife, can be alive, or how despite possessing a wide range of different ingredients put together, only the sandwich itself is alive, and yet the many different foods within the sandwich aren't. Maybe, hear me out, such a thing as a soul exists in Annoying Orange lore. Or maybe again, I'm thinking way too much. Probably the latter. I also realised at the time of writing this, I didn't really talk about the entry itself that much. I'm gonna keep it in because I like it, so sorry. As much as I know, there's only been 2 official Annoying Orange Flash games, the first being Escape from Dr. Fruitenstein. The plot here is that Orange and the other fruit need help in escaping Dr. Fruitenstein's Island of Horrors, and only you can help them. The gameplay simply has you finding different ways to smash deformed fruit together. The second game is Annoying Orange Pinball. It is pinball but with an Annoying Orange recolor, and honestly, I think it's really fun. In 2013, H2M, an ad agency, filed a lawsuit against Danebo and Spencer Grove, claiming that the character Annoying Orange was actually plagiarized from a copyrighted character called the Talking Orange. The Talking Orange was featured in road safety PSAs that aired in North Dakota and western Minnesota from 2005 to 2010. To support their claim, they stated that after Danebo and Spencer, who both grew up in North Dakota, saw the commercial, they decided to move to California and start filming their own adaptation of the Talking Orange. Danebo has stated he never saw any of the Talking Orange commercials, and unfortunately I couldn't find anything on whether or not the lawsuit went through. Should have listened. Annoying Orange in real life is probably not referencing one particular video, but maybe the large amount of clickbait content that suggests the possibility of Orange existing in real life. If that's not what this entry means, then I really don't know what it could be. It could also be a joke entry too, I don't know. In Annoying Orange lore, yeah, they exist. In the beginning of the universe, there was a god given the nickname the Space Toddler. The Space Toddler had 5 planet-sized hamsters in need of somewhere to keep them safe. So the Space Toddler created 5 different planets from stardust and spread them throughout the universe, each containing one of the 5 hamsters. Again, in Annoying Orange lore, because fuck gravity, all my homies hate gravity, the Earth is only spinning because of some hamster running on his wheel. If the hamster were to stop running, then that would lead to the Earth getting so hot it would wipe out humanity, and is maybe how the dinosaurs canonically died in Annoying Orange lore. That is, if the TV show is canon. The Amazing World of Drex, who I'll refer to as Drex for simplicity, commented on Annoying Orange video addressing the unfortunate news of his mother sadly passing away. The official Annoying Orange YouTube account would then go on to comment the following on Drex's now deleted video. Hey Dex, I saw your comment on my video, and I just wanted to say that I'm very sorry for your loss. Losing a loved one is never easy, especially a parent. You have the love and support of a lot of people online, and we're all rooting for you. YouTube took away the ability to message privately, but if you email me at the email in the About tab on my page, I can send you some merch and other fun stuff, just a little something to say that we're thinking of you during this hard time. This is probably nothing more than a joke entry, but I still did try to make some sort of connection. Pride is grapefruit, sloth is grandpa lemon, lust is marshmallow, wrath could be pear because of how easy it is to provoke him, and envy could be midget apple because he can easily get jealous if someone possesses a superior height to him. Gluttony and greed I couldn't think of anyone for. In Friday 2, Revenge of the Fries, Midget Apple says the line, I may be small, but I have big balls, and shortly after pulls out a soccer ball. I think we all know what the joke is alluding to. Naranja Molesta Official, I definitely got that wrong, is the official Annoying Orange Spanish dub channel. Naranja Molesta is simply just Annoying Orange translated into Spanish. The TV show also got a Spanish dub. Besides that, there's not much to really talk about.
Now, I did kinda explain why this might be, but I think the simple reason is that it would be very hard to, I don't know, animate every food in the background with some level of liveliness. So, I don't think it's anything deeper than that.
Similar to how some characters have their own YouTube channel, some of them also have their own Twitter account too. It's overall not all that interesting except for the fact that Midget Apple's account got hacked, but for some reason, whoever ran the account never bothered to change it because it's officially affiliated with the Annoying Orange. That means that Midget Apple is canonically a stoner. Whilst Danebo has never spoken publicly about his fatigue towards the Annoying Orange, if he even has any, with the high amount of compilations being uploaded, these compilations in question requiring very little effort, and according to many the characters have faced a massive flanderization, it's fair to say that the Annoying Orange is declining, and its decline is a result of Danebo's numbness towards the series, But who can blame him? When you've been doing this for almost 15 years, I too can see how that can be tiring. Why doesn't he quit? Money! Ayo Viztone is a supposed lost episode of Annoying Orange. According to the Tropedia fan wiki, the episode consists of nothing but Orange talking to the viewer. I couldn't find any other information than that, so unfortunately that's all there is to know. Researching the term, I discovered an Annoying Orange gaming video titled Annoying Orange Plays Bouncing Ball. In the video, he plays a game called Bouncing Ball. What is strange is how the thumbnail features a different game called Bouncy Ball. It was most likely just a mistake though, because besides the similar sounding names, the gameplay is pretty alike too, although I'm not completely confident that this is what the entry is referring to. Annoying Orange Countdown refers to a timer that would count down to the premiere of the High Fructose Adventures of Annoying Orange. It will be displayed at the top right corner on Cartoon Network, and that's all there really is to it. I don't know if this entry is alluding to if the hands are literally God, or if they're meant to metaphorically represent God. Either way, there's gotta be some truth to this, considering how the hand quite literally gets to play with life and death and doesn't even know it. I wouldn't be surprised if some food looks at that hand as their God. Because again, it's most likely going to be the hand's decision whether or not someone dies, and there might even be some religions, founded by food, that depict the hands as some almighty god. Besides that, according to a singular Google search, biblically hands can signify such things like authority, power, blessing, worship, and healing, which is quite the opposite of what I've talked about. And to conclude, this may not really matter, but there's quite a few images that depict God pointing down at Earth. However, his entire body is curtained by a staggering mountain of clouds, leaving but his hand exposed. I'm not alluding to anything in particular, but I think it's something. At first, I thought this entry was alluding to the 3D animated remake of the first video as a way to commemorate 10 years, but the Iceberg I got this entry from came out during August of 2021, while the remake came out during October of 2019. It also can't be the 4K remake either, because that came before this Iceberg, so I really don't know what upcoming remake this entry is referring to. Because I've already attempted to touch upon this subject, I will admit poorly, I won't go too deep. What I will say is how it's definitely possible, going off the fact that broccoli are said to be very advanced, and also how they're capable of resurrection, so I don't think transformation of any kind would be far off. Although, giving it a proper think now, it wouldn't make sense for him to turn the humans into fruit, because, as previously stated, he and his entire species do not like them.
Okay, right, hello, editor, me here. I still haven't thought of a channel name. There's an episode in the TV series where Nerval turns into like a fruit, so like, take of that what you will. Yeah, I just thought that would be important.
In the TV show episode Founding Fruits, Grandpa Lemon reveals that he was alive when this show's version of the Declaration of Independence was signed. This means Grandpa Lemon is nearly 250 years old. In the TV show episode Lost Food Pyramid, when Orange asked Nerval where to find Marion, being a fruit, Nerval instead prioritised informing Orange that they're not in a relationship. At least, that's how I took it. It just has a lot of weird implications, like, does such a thing as fruit and human interbreeding exist? I don't want to know. For some reason, at 3 minutes and 42 seconds in the video Annoying Orange Storytime FNAF, a picture of John Bailey, Grapefruit's current voice actor, appears on screen before quickly going away. I don't know if it's an editing mistake or some type of Easter egg. Either way, that's all there really is to it. Midget Apple's full name is Diminutive Reginald Applebaum III. If this means anything, diminutive means extremely or unusually small, And also, strangely enough, he shares a last name with American Polish journalist Anne Applebaum, though it's probably just a coincidence. IHateAnnoyingOrange.com is a website centered around slandering the annoying orange, except these wild expressions of distaste take a much darker than expected approach. Upon entering the website, you're greeted to a looping jive of orange getting knifed and an option to create an account. However, for some reason, this just doesn't work. Below that is a kind greeting from the owner, Stephen. Welcome new users. If you find yourself hating the annoying orange just as much as I do, then you're in luck. This blog was designed by me to find fellow annoying orange haters. Please stick around if that sounds like your kind of thing. I hate that fucking orange so much, so your support means the world. Furthering down to the bottom, you're given two different options. The first being a forum displaying multiple posts, each expressing their own unique hostility towards the orange. For example, I hate Nintendo, I hate Nintendo, I hate Nintendo. Children play this, from Mr. Mink 23, with a photo depicting Orange being a playable character in Mario Kart Wii. But the most odd post would come from so-and-so, bringing attention to this mysterious mobile game titled Annoying Talking Orange, with the caption, I think this app might be a virus. I forgot to feed my orange, now all my contact information is missing. Doing research, such an app did exist at one point. However, as much as I know, you could only make the orange repeat after you and say certain phrases, and I couldn't find any reviews complaining about their contact information going away. Although, according to SysSticks in his video, The Analog Horror of Annoying Orange, there did exist an app similar to what was described by so-and-so. Except, if you opened the app after not feeding your orange for longer than a week, then you'd be told that your orange has died. Except it wouldn't just take away your contacts. If given the right permissions, it could do such things as deleting photos or even giving the wrong directions when driving, which also apparently led to the death of a user. But by far the scariest thing is if given permission to access your location, the screen would turn completely black and only the words Annoying Talking Orange is on its way would be visible. Clicking on the second option, titled Fruit Smashing Photos, would lead you to a photography section displaying both videos and photos showcasing dismembered and desecrated fruit. Because of how little there is, I'll be going through all of them. I'll make your children watch. Fruit salad. 10 gone, 0 found. Mr. Spot. And not a fruit. The last thing I want to talk about is how, according to SysSticks, there did exist an I Hate Annoying Orange channel on YouTube that uploaded similar content to its website counterpart, but I'm pretty confident that as well as a channel, all of this isn't real.
as the moon set a gargantuan and mammothing light projected amongst my withering and boned body, I was but laid restless in a dusting bed, grieved of the blustering energy I had once yielded this very same day. And yet, for some odd reason, it seemed my entangled and strained mind was more than against the idea of giving its yearned, teething, hungered self the gifting sensation of what was sleep that I so craved. To others, sleep was little more than miniature and insignificant bristles of stoned asteroids aimlessly guiding themselves through the wide-reaching desert of space that was their to-do list. But because of these foul, blue-clothed, mudded pigs I've had tending to my decrepit and stomped body, sleep was really my only escape from the towering wrath they all yielded against me. That, and watching annoying orange videos, strangely enough. I know it may seem a bit silly, but something about that damn orange always hooked me in like a scaled fish, even into my late years. Even after being chained to roam this moistening greened planet for many a year, I could never explain to myself why I cherished that bloody orange so goddamn much. As a hollowing set of drooping ears got forcefully led into the pittering and pattering drummed up by the rain, I came to the ever-saddening conclusion that I was but unworthy of being bestowed with the illuminating lighted exit of what was sleep to me. I leached my aching, greased hand to the silver laptop my great-nephew had acquired for me many long eons ago, in the hope of banishing my tumorous, bored emotion into an ever-expanding murkied sea of entertainment. As I finished signing in, I was met with a poor internet connection. It seemed this teething escape that I so longed for was but another steeping step ahead of me. No matter the rosed blood choosing to migrate from my own wilted finger, my attempt to flee from this pitiful, grieved rock sporting greened blues even for just the nanoest of nanoseconds was just out of God's sight for me, I guess. This sponge disease with but no cure I've had cradled within my bony chasm could only take so much more of this deafening silence it was forced to tango with. A veined set of dilated-eyed pupils detonated into a dance of flaming and restless movement, scavenging for even the slightest of coloured wall to nourish my swelling mind upon. As my eyes got led elsewhere, they finally circled back to the illuminated screen perched upon my waxing chest. Just as a starved mother bear will relish in the blood of its bleeding kill, so did I bask in the unseen stewed broth that was a stable internet connection. Not only did I acquire such, but I also managed to spy out an annoying orange video patiently sat in my recommendation tab as if the algorithm pitied me somehow. Because of how often I indulged in the comedic antics performed by this irritating piece of ripe nutrition, I was well aware of his upload schedule. One video a week was the normal, but just a mere day ago, a new video was uploaded. Furthermore, it lacked even a simple title, and the thumbnail was just a mere shade of orange. Despite these feelings of uneasiness burrowing itself into the many thinned layers of fading skin cocooning my disfiguring wall of turbulent innards, even just a mere second of this escape I so longed for seemed pleasing to me. It's ironic, I thought to myself. Ponce de Leon had finally discovered the bright illuminating red X standing beneath him that was his desired fountain of youth. I had finally located sweetness within a pile of bitter filth, and yet this feeling of unwanted villainy polluted this singular video. My inner gut beckoned to avert me. My ached finger almost seemed like it was resisting the taste buds slummed against the touchpad on the laptop. Despite my body's greatest deal to pilot itself from this yearning exit, the depleting nothingness sandwiched between the touchpad and the tip of my raisined finger would only shut in further. Inches became centimeters, centimeters traded seats with millimeters, millimeters left early, deserting but a single micrometer between me and escapism. My finger was tasting the touchpad. Finally, my finger had given in to these primal urges. I have reached a city of gold, a garden of bliss, a glowing heaven. All that was left was for me to click. A simple click, I think to myself. One click, one effortless motion, one short and easy act of execution was all that I needed to clothe myself in these warming blanketed sheets of woollied fur. What was such a dull and elementary feat now seemed almost unfeasible to the basics of mind. I was prepared to embrace happiness, but my godforsaken finger just denied it. My finger, now more veined than human flesh, had finally given in. The seed to a lasting joy had finally been conceived at a cheeky degree of 20. I had given all that was needed for the pins to align within its wooded teething womb that was the keyhole, and this yearned primal joy would be delivered straight to my wailing mammoth chasm. A loading screen. I can't believe I never expected something like this before, I thought to myself. As a desperate attempt to locate even the greyest of coloured wall to excite the dulling mind, I noticed a coloured picture of a jellyfish. What a simple creature. All they know is eating and swimming. Must be nice, I thought to my envious self. I know it is rather pathetic to want to glorify such simple children of God, but I bet they never have to deal with thoughts like these, although I doubt they do much thinking at all. They just bathe in the infinite bliss that comes with not being able to think. Sure, they'll never get to experience the high of getting that promotion or having children, but for them, simply surviving is all the high they need. As I am laid stiff in but a stuffing bed, with little left, I come to look back on my own life. I didn't do much. In fact, I wasted quite a lot of it. Even if I did do well at my one shot at life, no matter the bubbling joy contained within a sparse moment, a stumbling mountain of flavourful icing topped upon a sweetening fresh cake, or even something as simple as engaging in a fair exchange of mouthed words to another being. All these acts of pleasure or joy are just meant to thin out the teething conveyor to the devil's protruded jaw. No matter how we grieve for the past, we can't turn back. The past is nothing more than a mere faded memory we chose to give meaning to. So what? Am I destined to be led to this planing field of dissatisfaction either way? To only starve for the imperfect, I pondered to myself. Even if I am little more than a singular dab of orange sat amongst a mixing palette of redded blues and purple greens driven against the dusting canvas of a starving painter. Why should that matter? If this really is my one and only shot at living, why waste it pondering or feuding the land I walk on? This protruding, dulling trail, filthed with breaded crumb, would come to a halt as the video finally began. It started like any other. Orange was making what he thought were to be hysterical punned vows to his chum Pear who sat beside him. Pear, already deep within the inescapable and swampy substance that was his own expanding insanity, chose to migrate to his bedroom to get away from the irritating symphony orchestrated by Orange he oh so commonly feuded with. Pear bitterly shuts the wooded door and lays down, cocooning himself in a warming layer of cottoning wool. After gaining a sense of comfort from the heat radiating off the cloth encasing him, he begins to drink. He seemed to be unsatisfied by the beverage though. I studied elsewhere and found a group of bottles huddled up in one of the corners. The sad implication, partnered with the grey expression worn by Pear, made me relate to him. I know it sounds a bit cringe to be relating to a fictional piece of fruit, but this league of sympathetic pity would be interrupted by my confusion erecting to but a new cloud nested well above the illuminated heavens as his eyes begin to emit a fading white light. Then, without warning, the video switched to a marbling white room with 4 people, spectrumed with varying physiques, stalking what seemed to be a stained mattress, deprived of its clothes, dressing, and for some reason they all wore masks of annoying orange characters. The one dressed as Grapefruit was short and fat. Ironically, the one dressed as Midget Apple was tall and slender. From my guess, the one dressed as Orange had both a normal height and weight, maybe a little bit short, I don't know. And finally, who was ever meant to be Passion Fruit had a similar physique to Orange, except she was a bit thinner, if you can even call them a she. They all begin to consume a tending trough laid with breaded wine and gaze at pornographic content. Except for Orange, of course, who chose to recite his galling jokes instead. This all took place whilst an alteration of Eminem's Kim could be heard from a furthering distance. One by one, they each down a type of indescribable ovaled drug and partake in a game of Monopoly, except for Orange, who was perched in the corner, quietly muttering to himself his own jokes as his slobbering tongue drawled amongst the patterned floor laid beneath his damped feet. It annoyed the rest as Orange's silent murmurings of secludedness coloured the room with hills of sympathetic apathy as just this morning they asked him if he wanted to partake in their weekly dedicated night to board games, but Orange, hunting for centred attention, declined the offer and hiked elsewhere as he moped about his ever-expanding tumour that was being unwanted. They asked again and again, several times throughout the day, if he just wanted to join them, but with every question they withdrew to him, he would give nothing more than a mere saddened expression, led by a hinted invitation to comfort him. Rested within my bleached, sculling head, birthed the thought that Orange is just being a bit unreasonable and annoying. This bitter salt scattered upon a singular deserted plate that was soon to be relished by a veined pair of eyes would seem a bit unfair of a retaliation in my opinion. This circus-like act angered the rest to a point of excreting their built-up violent lust for blood onto their dear friend Orange. They then beat Orange up to an red canvas of blacked blues. My shock would only invade more mammothing hilly territory as Midget Apple exerts a thrusting, wounded stab to his own thinning self. With blood drooling from the tipped edge, he carries the knife one-handed and lowered to his hip, drenched in some sort of unseen malicious intent. He lowers the knife into the head anus of Orange, widening it. Him, along with the one dressed as Passion Fruit, begin to shove an assortment of things inside Orange's rectum, such as tissues, boxes, trumpets, bombs, and even a tree, thus widening the anus of Orange to a point which was thought to be mathematically impossible. Orange cradled himself whilst he was drenched in his own staining and fecal blood. He pleaded and wailed for the arrayed items to be withdrawn, but before he could even mutter something slightly comprehensible, the one deceived as Grapefruit materializes a buzzing saw into existence and barbarically decapitates Orange's bleeding head from his feces-tainted body. Staining the worn bed with gushed blood, he then plays kickball with the head of his dear friend Orange. Midget Apple and Passion Fruit slithered the maggot-pulsating metropolis back to its originating isolated cornering one-manned island. Passion Fruit, now tethering Orange's gushed head, penetrates with her deep fist into the mashed and thickening bisque of what was left and somehow pulls out a fresh watermelon. She divides the melon into even cuts, They ate the melon like how a pack of hyenas would freely mull on the decaying and rotten carcass of a baby elephant. The video then retreats back to Pear, this time drenched in a deep and coldening sweat. His face alone could tell a long tale possessing a superfluous worded amount. My guess is that he must have witnessed what I saw too. As a palette of varying fluids from fallen tears to arrayed vomited excretions flee from Pear, he hung himself in the next scene. A single tear raced down my wrinkling cheeked skin as the concluding scene was a funeral being held for Pear. I timidly shut the laptop and lay back in my nest of clothed sheet as I tried to take in what the hell just happened. As if these spiking flowed waves of crashing confusion wasn't enough, suddenly I began to notice an anviling drop in my vision, swiftly paired with a charging landslide of closed silenceness. With what little senses I had left, I saw something. It would edge every bit closer with every whimpering blackout. Its blurring colour seemed to be a type of shaded grey or a perky white. It had a protruding, indescribable outline, its skin silked oh so great, and yet from just sheer I could tell it brushed like sandpaper. It looked so young, yet so old, and before I could even study its eyes, everything went dark, this time permanent. Or so I thought. I awakened cross-legged in a room devoid of such colour, with the thing sat opposite to me, as if it's been quietly waiting for me. It stood up and signed me to follow it. It points to a door and quietly mutters. Just under its cold and steamy breath, I stare in dreaded disappointment, paired with one singular tiny dab of curiosity. I unhurriedly drift towards the door, as whatever is nesting beneath this marbled casing is most unlikely to give me this forever joy I've been told is what coats these cushiony hilled valleys sat on these floated heavens. I thieve one short glance at the thing before diving into perfection.
Right, so that's it. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This video took like a fucking long time to make, but yeah. Again, I don't know what to say. Like and sub my homie. This is all like improv, by the way. I don't know what I didn't plan for this bit, but the one thing I do want to mention is in between like the transition to like layers, there was gonna be like it was gonna be like a bit of like GTA, like you know, like in the loading screens in GTA. It was gonna be kind of based off that. I think there should be like an example on the screen on what I intended to achieve with that. But yeah. I mean, this video took like a fucking year or two to make, because I was so unsatisfied with how it was. But now I finally achieved something I'm actually happy with. But yeah. Bye. No, that sounded odd. See ya. No, see you later, alligator. I'm not very good at improv. I'm shit at improv.